Hey, awesomes. How's it going? All right, I'm going to move myself back down in the corner here. All right, I want to talk to you real quick about the discussion post. The first one is this week. So we've read about rhetoric last week. This week, we're learning more about ethos, pathos, and logos. And as I said on the description, so I'm just going to scroll up here, right, for the week 3 page, right? We're take a deeper dive into the rhetorical appeals of ethos, pathos, and logos. So this week, when you feel ready, or by Friday, if you don't mind, click on the discussion post here, and we'll do that in a second. I want you to, so for your first post, right? So we're going to do 2 posts or 2 rounds of posts, right? So the first one you're going to do is you're going to select one of the rhetorical appeals, define what it is in relation to persuasion. And then finally, find an example of a rhetorical appeal, perhaps in a recent news story or event that demonstrates that rhetorical appeal, whether you choose ethos, pathos, or logos. So just select one. When you go to enter it in for your first post, say, ethos or pathos or logos or whichever it is, what's your understanding of that particular rhetorical appeal? And then give an example somewhere out there in the world, either a recent news story or the article that you've chosen is fine, right, to demonstrate that you understand it. And then once all those come in by Friday night, then sometime over the weekend, Saturday or Sunday, hop back on there. And then by Sunday night, is there another rhetorical appeal also at work in their example that you see? So when you read some of your fellow classmates' posts, right? How effective is the rhetorical appeal in their example? Does the use of the rhetorical appeal in the situation seem reasonable? That is it a stretch? Does it work? Is it effective? Think about what we're learning about rhetoric and just kind of like think about how you can participate that in a conversation. Try as best you possibly can. Say we're in a live class, right? And someone has just shared that particular post, right? And you think to yourself, oh, okay, yeah, I can see that. I wonder if this also is at work, right? Because remember we talked about in the rhetorical analysis and assignment description video that someone can be a writer, in our case, right, since we're analyzing an article. A writer can, let's say, appeal to logos to their audience. And let's say they bring in some facts and some figures or some data, right, or a chart or a graph, or they're quoting a study, right? But let's say that study, maybe that study is not so credible, all right? So now, even though they've attempted to, right, it may be that it needs help because the choice that they made to use that appeal to logos in that setting or in that context, right, this particular topic, perhaps their appeal, the thing that they want to persuade, perhaps would be better if they had some logos. But the logos they chose perhaps wasn't the best. There were other choices that they could have made. And then maybe there's a reason that they chose that particular one. And that's where you can kind of begin to kind of like engage in like conversation about that. Same thing could be true for pathos. Maybe they went for something to invoke fear, or they went for something to invoke joy, or they appealed to something to invoke love, or they did something else to invoke another specific emotion. But they missed it just a little bit. Maybe they should have used a different type of example, or maybe they should have presented it in a different way, right? Maybe they just weren't successful in how they presented that appeal to emotion. So anyway, those are things that you want to be thinking about in participating in our discussion post for this weekend. All right. Okay, so I think that does it for the discussion post. So maybe get your first one in by Friday. All right, by Friday night. And then over the weekend, find a couple of your fellow classmates' posts. Respond to 2 of those. If you get on there, I know some of you probably do this late Sunday night, let's say, okay, and you find that maybe there's one that's got a whole bunch of conversation to it, and there's some that don't have any. Try to make sure everyone at least gets responded to a couple of times, minimum of at least once. So keep that in mind as you're responding. All right, thanks, guys. Have a great week, and we'll be talking soon. Bye now.